So here we are in the van of chaos between laundry day and installing this heater. Hello, we have right here a new diesel heater. This is the one that quite a few of my van life friends have ordered and installed, so hopefully it's good. It does seem to be harder to find these than it was 5 years ago. But this is the one we got for today, and we're going to be installing it. Luckily, I already have the hole drilled in the floor from the last time that I had a diesel heater. I already have a lot of the tubing done. I am installing a new diesel heater tank, and it isn't the tank that came with this, and I'm trying to install it underneath the van for the first time, so we will see how that works out. But this one is only 2 kilowatts. A lot of the diesel heaters that you'll see online are 5 or 8 kilowatts. That is the amount of, to my very basic understanding, power that it puts out, which means the amount of heat that it puts out. And I previously had 5 kilowatt diesel heaters, and those were too powerful. And the problem with having a diesel heater that is too powerful is, in order to burn off the carbon inside of the engine of the diesel heater, you need to make sure that you're running it at a high degree. And when I have one that's too powerful and it's putting off too much heat, I don't want to run it at a higher degree to burn off that carbon, because then it's too hot in here. So if I get a 2 kilowatt one, hopefully there'll be less heat, less power, which means I can run it at a higher temperature, which will then make it burn off that carbon, and hopefully I won't have an issue with it having carbon buildup like I did on my first one. I've had several of these and they didn't work out well. That's the first reason I have a concern. The other reason why I have a concern is there's some I don't know, white deposit on this piece down here, and hopefully I didn't get one that was returned, because that would be unfortunate. Let's see if I can quickly, okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks new. This is the basic inside. I have in the past taken this apart because I had one blow up. This is the glow plug that often goes out on these. So if you ever have a diesel heater and you pull a certain code for a glow plug, that is what you would be replacing. I have taken this apart before and found that the inside of the engine, the turbine had fallen off and had scraped the inside of the engine. So I've had a lot of bad experiences with these. 4th time's a charm. I do not have money for anything else, and from what I've heard, there's not many alternatives, to be honest. That's one of the reasons why it has been 2 years since I've had a diesel heater. But with more backpacking, with more traveling, I want to go to more places with colder temperatures, which includes me getting new tires, which I've already gotten, and hopefully they'll still be new enough by the time I make it to the cold. Getting a diesel heater and getting a better battery, so that way I have the power, the heat, and the traction I need to go to places with snow. So we're going to be installing this today. After I install this part on the inside, I should have a few hours until it gets dark. I can go underneath the van and I'll be installing the part that goes underneath the van. Let's get started. Let's finish unboxing this together. This is the fuel pump. Usually there is an arrow on it that will indicate which way is in and out. I believe this would be in and that would be out. I will read the directions. And the most important thing to my understanding of installing one of these fuel pumps is that it needs to be at a slight angle, which once again I will double check before I install it, because I haven't done this in a few years. This is the monitor, which will hopefully pop into this hole with my previous monitor, and then it comes with a remote control. Instruction book, cut the fingers. We haven't even started the work yet. Don't cut the fingers. We always injure ourselves every time we do anything. Don't cut the fingers. We want to keep them all today. Don't cut the fingers. It would suck if we did. Okay, this is something I already have installed in here, and it's already bent into the shape that I would like it, so I most likely will not be using this. This is for the air to exit, and then it comes out of this vent, which would usually pop on right here, but I have a different one installed. So luckily I kept my old one. So that'll pop right there. Let's see, it'll pop right there, and that way you can decide which direction that you would like that to go. So luckily I kept that from my previous one. This looks like the bag with the air intake. This is to prevent any debris from going in the air intake that will eventually come into the van as heat, and then a bunch of the different attachments that they have. This is the exhaust hose and the exhaust muffler. If you get a diesel heater, make sure you get one with a muffler, because if you have a diesel heater exhaust without a muffler, it is so loud. It is so loud. It sounds like a jet engine taking off and running, and it's really annoying for people. This is the air intake hose, wiring. This plate will go at the bottom of that, and it goes on the floor over here where I already have the holes drilled, and then on this plate there's a hole for the air intake and then the exhaust exit, and then through this little attachment up here is where the fuel line goes. So most likely this is the air intake, because the fuel line hose, to my knowledge, doesn't go next to the exit because it'd be too hot. And yeah. I've never gotten this in the past. It's really cool that they've given it in this one. It is something to protect you. It is an exhaust pipe insulation sleeve to reduce the surface temperature of the exhaust pipe, because that is hot. I've actually seen some people who have installed these before, and they installed the exhaust and it like exited right by their side door, and I'm like, yo, my man, you're gonna burn off your shins. Oh, goodness gracious. This manual is a lot better than it used to be 5 years ago, though. I'll say that. It tells you how to take this apart and to clean it in case there's carbon buildup causing black smoke to be entering. That has happened to me. While we are here, let me show you my current plan for my fuel tank. So in the past, and normally, these come with this white fuel tank. This is a fuel tank for a lawnmower, which already has all of this down here, and it has an on and off switch. It has an exit valve. It's also, instead of plastic, it is some type of steel. My plan, my idea, is to have two magnets like this underneath the van, and then the two magnets on the tank like this, and to clip it on and be able to clip it off to sell it. Will that work? I don't know, we'll see. But that's my plan. And then I don't have to worry about drilling any of the holes or having the tank inside the vehicle. All right, let's get to work. So this is the plate that I currently have that's covering the hole in the floor. I have to take that out. This is the air intake tube that will exit. I have to take off this screen. I will have to redo the electrical. So let me go get my tools and clean up in here a bit, because it was also laundry day yesterday. So it's a bit crowded in here. So here we are in the van of chaos between laundry day and installing this heater, and let me show you where we are. I took out this panel and pulled out some of the electricity. We have the hole, and I cleaned up the box. This is that tube that I was showing you, and now we're gonna try and read the direction books and put everything together. Okay, so let's talk about one of the problems I'm currently having. I originally had my fuel tank for my first diesel heaters behind the driver's seat, and then I had the fuel pump behind the driver's seat. So I have electrical that's running up there to install a fuel pump. Now I have this, which will go into the monitor, and then this piece right here goes into the fuel pump, and they are connected. And then there are just these two wires here that will connect to electricity, so that way the fuel pump is connected to the monitor, which is connected to the electricity. Let me show you what I have going on over here now. So this is my old wiring. I'm gonna need to go and unplug the fuse before I cut any of this so it doesn't short. I mean, even if I did cut it, what would happen is I'd blow a fuse and I'd replace the fuse, but still. So my plan is to install the fuel pump in the fuel tank now, like in this area underneath the van, and then the heater will be here, right? But because of that, I need to find a way to get electrical to the fuel pump, and my electrical is back here. And I don't want to like rerun wires. I don't want to run a wire outside the van. So my idea, which I've never done before, was there is this little gap in the plate, and from my understanding, that gap is usually used for if you need to run the fuel line like from inside the vehicle and then behind the fuel plate and then back into the fuel plate or something like this. Well, I went ahead and took the line that goes to the fuel pump and I ran it through there, and this is pretty sharp, so I tried to wrap it in electrical tape quite a few times, and then I put it in this tubing to protect the wire, and hopefully it won't be too hot and I can run that fuel pump outside of this same hole, the fuel pump under the van next to the fuel tank, and not have to change any of the electrical. So far we have the exhaust connected, the air intake connected, just the hose themselves, and then that wire that'll run to the fuel pump, I dropped it down into that hole. I'm about to screw these screws in and then connect this air outtake that will bring me the heat into the van, and then I need to go find the fuse for this, and I'll do the electrical. Actually, I might do the tank under the van first, just because it is going to get dark, and I'd rather go ahead and do the tank underneath the van while it's still light, because I can always be inside of here and doing this once it gets dark. I wanted to talk about the agility of Walter for a moment. Walter. Because the van is a wreck, right? And this is the space. And this little munchkin, even with the tripod down here, this little munchkin can run and then dive straight into this space right here. And then he just chills. I'm so lucky that I have him and he's the way he is, because I don't know what I'd be doing right now if I had a bigger dog. So another thing that I wanted to share is this is the fuel filter that came with the diesel heater. These notoriously leak in general. And before, when I had my last diesel heater, I was planning to upgrade it, and then it broke anyway, so I didn't bother. So I still have, from like 2 years ago, this fuel filter that I'm gonna be installing instead. And look at the difference. It's wild, huh? But yeah, This is one that I bought externally to the device, and we're gonna do this one instead. Time to go under the van. The van is a wreck, and so am I. And the problem is today is Friday. Can't find my selfie light. Today is Friday, so the gym closes at 7. Oh, I did cut myself. I was like, oh, I made it the whole time without cutting myself, which is surprising. It's been rough down there, but I'm filthy. I'm been rolling all over the parking lot ground, so I'm about to clean up everything as much as I can. I'm gonna go take a shower, then I'll probably come back and do some more work. I'm not gonna be able to finish today because I'm still troubleshooting the fuel tank, but yep, we'll see. We'll make it. In case anyone was wondering what the real van life is, this is a good look at it. Being in the middle of a project and having to move somewhere or do something. Now the entire place is a wreck and you're disgusting, and you have to decide between finishing your project or taking a shower. So right now I cut the old wires and I reattached these butt connectors and heat shrink them, and then this will go in there, and then I have the screen up now, but got that in. This is the new one and it doesn't fit in the hole. My hole is too big. But you can't really tell unless you're looking. So that's good. Like, look how much extra room there is. I'll think of a way to fix that. I just went and had pizza and dinner. Walter just ate dinner finally, so trying to finish the electrical. That way the only thing that I'll still need to do will be the fuel tank and the fuel pump and the fuel filter. So my cockamamie idea of how to install my fuel tank under the van did not work because the fuel tank leaked. And I found that if I'm trying to do something and it's not working out, it's usually because there's a better answer. And if I view things like that, I don't view it as a failure. So we are on to plan number 2. And hopefully plan number 2 works, because I don't want to have to move to a plan number 3. I returned that diesel heater tank that was leaking, and here is my second option. And I was trying to think of the best solution for hanging this one under the van, right? And I had 2 ideas. I'm not sure which one. I think I'm just gonna go with the first one, but I don't know yet. But there's these two holes where usually you would like mount it onto a wall or like a piece of wood. In the past, I would drill a hole through here and then I put a bolt through the closet wood panel to hold it onto the wall behind the driver's seat. This time, I have two plans. One plan is I got a bunch of paracord and I'm going to put the holes in through here, and then I'm gonna run the paracord through the tank and I'm gonna hang it with the paracord from the same clip magnetic carabiners that I was planning to use for the last one. One of the original ideas that I wanted to do was, it scared me, to get some bolts and drill through the hole, put this magnet here and put a bolt through it to the magnet and then just magnetize it. The only thing I'm concerned about is I'm concerned that that won't be strong enough. These are 150-pound magnets, I believe, and this is not a lot of fuel, so I don't think it would weigh very much. Like, I don't know. This is less than a gallon, or like a gallon and a half, so however much a gallon weighs. But with all of like the vibration, these magnets hold better when they're like suspended straight and being pulled this way. Whenever they are like put this way and then being pulled down, they slide. So I'm not sure if that will work. I might try it first to see if it works, and then if it doesn't, then I will move on to the paracord. But that is my other idea, because I do have these very strong magnets and that would be very convenient to take it on and off if that works out. The downside of this tank is I will have to attach the nozzle. Which is always supposed to be less than fun. I was trying to contemplate how I was going to get this. This needs to poke out of this hole, right? Down here, and my hand doesn't fit, whatever. And then I was thinking back to 5 years ago, because I was like, I swear someone somewhere told me something smart that made it to where it was easier to do. And then I remembered, you take your fuel line and you put it through the tank, right? And then you grab the fuel line in the tank. Where there is a will, there is a way. Okay, so you do that, and then it'll pull through there. Okay, so put the fuel line on the nozzle and then pull. And there you go, look at that. Very good. And now it is through. Perfect. Hopefully. I mean, hopefully perfect. I did not want to pay more money for another attachment. Now, washer on the outside, or rubber washer on the outside, and then nut. Okay, looks good to me. Feels tight. Now let's add the magnets on here and make sure that that works. So we have fuel in the tank. Let me see if I can adjust it because it's hanging a bit. Okay, so now we have fuel in the tank and I need to prime the fuel pump. My instruction manual says that if you have the Bluetooth version to manually pump oil, we would press and hold the down key for 7 seconds. So here it is. Here is the down key. And then the fuel pump is going. So now the fuel pump is going and it's supposed to go for 300 seconds. And then there's supposed to be, per the instructions, like a little bit of an air pocket at the very top before it goes into the engine, or it could overfill. So we'll see. So we are heading up there. So you see it's coming out of the fuel pump now. And it says that we can always press the shut off to make it stop, which it seems like that's probably something we're going to want to do because it warned against overfilling and we don't want to overfill it. So I just drove into the mountains with the tank. And it is in the same place that it was before, despite driving an hour and going over some dirt roads and up stuff, so I think that's good. So I drove into the mountains, not only to work and to be in nature, but also so I can go ahead and test my diesel heater. Inside the city right now, it's a little bit too warm and I don't want to turn it on and then see if it works and then pretty much just turn it off because I'm too hot. I also needed some electricity because it has been so cloudy that with my new battery, I have not been able to charge it fully still. So driving into the mountains gives me the opportunity to use the DC to DC charger and charge while I'm driving. So lots of pros to coming out here besides just like drive time, which honestly is really good for my mental health. I love driving. And using gas and gas money, but that's okay. So we're going to finally turn on the diesel heater and I'm scared. But you're here with me and we will see what happens. So let me go ahead and clear the area just in case. I'm gonna open up the box and we're gonna turn her on. In case you forgot, here is my diesel heater. This area back here is one of the air intakes. There's two of them. There is more than a fist of gap between that. And then there is a gap at the top of this piece of wood here, so that way fresh air does go inside of the box. I'm losing some storage with having this diesel heater in here, but I need to get rid of some stuff anyways. So here's the heater, and I'm gonna turn her on, go outside, and make sure there's nothing funny happening out there, and hopefully everything works. Cross fingers.
Start heating.
Let's see if it is pumping outside. I don't hear the pump on at the moment, so I don't know. It turned off. That's not good. So I blew a fuse, so let's try this again now that I replaced the fuse with the correct fuse. On.
Start heating.
Pulling in air, that's good. That's the sound the diesel heater makes. So the diesel heater is on. It's blowing air. It's making terrifying noises. Maybe those are the normal noises and I just haven't heard it in a long time, so. So the diesel heater's been running for a few minutes. One of the warnings they gave was white smoke. I don't see any white smoke. Cross fingers for the future. The pump is running. The fuel tank is looking good. I think it sounds normal. It is smelling a bit bad. Hopefully that is because it's new and it's kind of like clearing itself out, kind of like when you get a new water bottle and you have to like wash it and clear it out to get rid of that plasticky taste. Thanks so much for joining me on this diesel heating adventure. Hopefully seeing me work through the kinks has given you the confidence to go ahead and do your own if you also don't know what you're doing or you're also just doing your best. Maybe some of my troubleshooting and craziness has given you some ideas or fixes for your own, and I will update y'all if anything weird happens.